If you haven't heard the buzz, the new Wicked movie musical has finally dropped, and theater kids everywhere are absolutely thriving. They're flocking to theaters in droves, belting out their favorite tunes, and, let's be honest, mildly annoying folks who just want to watch Gladiator 2 in peace. It's chaotic, it's dramatic, and honestly, it feels like balance has been restored to the universe. But hey, no judgment if you've been out of the loop. You're here now, and I'm here to catch you up on what's shaping up to be one of the most hilariously chaotic press tours ever. If you follow the comment sections closely, you've probably already seen a bit of drama surrounding Wicked. A few weeks back, Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba in the movie, had what some are calling a woke mind virus moment over a fan edit that didn't sit well with her. But it looks like she's moved on from that incident. Now, both she and Ariana Grande are laser focused on doing positive PR and hyping up the movie with all the energy they can muster. The content coming out of this Wicked PR tour might actually outshine the movie itself. It's a wild, hilarious snapshot of everything that feels upside down and over the top about modern media and the weight of today's progressive ideologies. And yes, I'm tying all of this back to Wicked. Buckle up, it's a ride. But before we get into it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the comment section channel if you haven't already, and of course, hit that notification bell so you're always up to date with our latest episodes. Here's the gist of this Wicked PR tour. Ariana Grande, who plays Glinda, and Cynthia Erivo are total theater kids at heart. And if you know anything about theater kids, you know they feel everything on a whole other level. They pour their souls into the shows they're a part of, and it's no different here. Their interviews are a masterclass in feeling things deeply. Every time they sit down to chat about this movie, it's like they're having a full-on spiritual awakening. It's intense, it's dramatic, and honestly, it's kind of hilarious. Don't take my word for it. Just check out this little compilation.
Got a little bit of her softness, and she's got
her strength.
A little bit of my strength.
Yeah.
Well, you have to understand, the questions they're being asked aren't exactly groundbreaking. It's stuff like, what was your favorite moment on set? Or, did you guys have fun together? Simple, lighthearted questions. And yet, as I'm scrolling through Twitter, watching these clips, I'm just sitting there like, what on earth are we witnessing? Is this actually happening?
This film means so much to me, and there are so many millions of kids like me who find refuge in The Witches. And I just want to let you know that
her freaking nails. Stop.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Me.
The freaking nails. Not the time, helicopter.
Really sorry.
No.
It just happens.
It's really
It
emotional.
happens. We can't help it. We're trying our best.
And it's not just a one-off moment. Every single interview is like this. They're tearing up, gripping each other's hands like they're boarding the last flight out of Vietnam. It's honestly incredible. One person joked, maybe I'm missing the deeper meaning of this movie. Another said, every Wicked interview feels like a therapy session. And honestly, I think it might actually be that for them. Another person said, is it because I'm not a theater kid? Am I missing something here? And honestly, yes. If you've never experienced the emotional chaos that unfolds during the closing night party of a high school production of Oklahoma, with all the hugging, crying, and dramatic declarations, then, yeah, you probably won't get what these two are going through. Either that, or we're going to see a juicy tell-all book in 5 years detailing the nightmare that this production secretly was. But honestly, I think the simpler explanation is more likely. They're just deeply emotional and dramatic. These are their dream roles. They're playing characters they've loved for years in a show that everyone adores. They're living their best Wicked theater kid fantasy, and they're totally feeding off each other's energy in what might be the most over-the-top way possible. But honestly, for people like me, this whole situation has been endlessly entertaining. The memes and parodies that have come out of it, absolutely top tier.
So what did you have for lunch on set filming Wicked?
The nails again.
Wow. I love you.
Pure gold. My personal favorite moment has to be this one clip where they're sitting together, gazing at each other so lovingly that you can't help but wonder if there's something extra going on between them. Then Ariana, completely unprompted, reaches over and runs her finger down the bridge of Cynthia's nose. Like, what? It's so bizarre, so random, and just the kind of content you can't make up. But again, they're theater kids, so honestly, nothing surprises me at this point. And if you've seen the parodies, you know they're not even exaggerating. This is exactly what it's like. These women need a serious reset. Like a week at a spa, some time to recharge, something. There's one particular moment from these interviews that has completely taken over the internet. A single clip from it has racked up over 65 million impressions on one post alone. You've probably come across it already, but let's watch it together.
This week, people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that and feeling power in that.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it, yeah.
That's really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it on a couple posts. I don't know how widespread, but I am in queer media, so that's my,
Really cool.
That's exactly why showing you all those other clips is so important. You need the full context. Every single interaction between these two is dripping with drama. Every answer, every response to even the simplest questions is so over the top that you're left sitting there thinking, what? What even is this? It's like they've cranked the theatrics up to 11 for every moment. And honestly, it's both baffling and hilarious to watch unfold. There is so much to unpack in this 30-second clip. First of all, what even is holding space and finding power supposed to mean? Like, seriously, what? That phrase just seemed to pop up out of nowhere around 2015, and suddenly feminists everywhere were like, yes, we need to hold space, whatever that means. Secondly, let's not forget that Defying Gravity is literally the most iconic song from Wicked. It's been a thing for 20 years, practically synonymous with the show itself. Yet here we are, trying to add layers of mystical depth to a song that's already a powerhouse. If you didn't know, Wicked is a spin-off of the books that inspired The Wizard of Oz, which also inspired the musical The Wiz. It's been around forever. Cynthia didn't write it, and the idea that she's out here saying, oh, that's what I wanted when I created it, is absolutely hysterical to me. Like, girl, people have been holding space with this show for years. One comment nailed it perfectly, saying, I didn't know that was happening, about a song that has been a full-blown girl boss anthem for theater kids since 2004. Not gonna lie, Defying Gravity is still my girl boss anthem. There's honestly nothing more empowering as a theater kid than being in your car, alone, absolutely belting that song like your life depends on it. It's a whole vibe. But anyway, moving on, we also need to talk about Ariana literally holding Cynthia's pointer finger, like so emotionally. What even was that? It's such a weirdly specific moment, and I have so many questions. Look at this. What is even happening here? And of course, we have to mention the obvious, queer media. Because of course it's queer media. The whole thing is a chaotic, beautiful train wreck of drama. And honestly, the comments and memes have been chef's kiss. Rob Smith summed it up perfectly when he said, "This has been the most outrageous and insufferable media tour in history, and I'll be damned if it didn't make me more excited to see this movie that obviously sent both of them to the brink of insanity." I mean, that's it. That's the vibe. It's wild, it's over the top, and somehow it's making people even more hyped for this movie. Honestly, same. I was fully prepared to skip this movie on principle after Cynthia Erivo's over-the-top reaction to that ridiculous fan edit last month. But now, I have to see it. Like, genuinely, what happened on that set? How did we get here? And the comments just keep delivering. Someone perfectly captured the moment by saying, "The trendification of therapy speak is going to send me back to therapy." Honestly, they're not wrong. Absolutely, this clip spiraled completely out of control, and I am not even mad about it. I spent the entire weekend liking and reposting every single meme I could find about it. I was laughing so hard, I had literal stitches in my side. One of my favorite comments was, "Get your effing ass up and hold space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity." Like, honestly, who even says this stuff? Another person added, "Not now, sweetie. Mommy is taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that, feeling power in that." And I don't know why, but this one absolutely floored me. Someone posted a picture and captioned it, "I need to know what you'd put here." It's just this random, nondescript room in a house, and someone commented, this is probably where I would hold space. Space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. Like, it's so dumb, but it's also so good. The internet just never misses with this kind of stuff. But as always, I promise there's a deeper meaning to all of this. And that's exactly why I'm making this episode. Let's dig into it. Because let's be real, 4 or even 8 years ago, we wouldn't have seen millions of people openly poking fun at queer media and a Black woman talking about the importance and impact of her song. The culture wasn't there yet. Back then, this kind of conversation would have been untouchable, treated with nothing but seriousness. And yet, here we are today with tweets like this absolute gem. When I'm in a woke-off and my opponent is a solo poly Black hijabi amputee with a peg leg and epilepsy living in Times Square, holding space for Defying Gravity. It's ridiculous, it's hilarious, and it's so emblematic of how people are starting to satirize the absurdity of it all. It's taken years, but people have finally woken up. They've started to see just how absurd all of this really is, and they're realizing it's okay, even necessary, to laugh at this kind of nonsense. Because honestly, none of it is that deep. It's all so painfully performative. The fact that people are openly mocking this completely over-the-top interaction is a sign that something has shifted. Like, on a cellular level, our culture has changed. We've moved into an era where the veil of seriousness around this kind of thing is being lifted, and it's honestly refreshing. What makes this even better is that the poor journalist behind this whole debacle has now been exposed for essentially making up the entire thing. And honestly, that just makes the situation even more perfect. By accident, she's managed to give us a masterclass in how superficial and hollow all these Hollywood social justice movements really are. Since the story went mega viral, she's been getting interview requests, and people are even making merch with her face on it. But the best part, she had to admit that in the moment she was completely flustered, grasping at straws, and basically fabricated the whole thing. It's the perfect bow on an already ridiculous saga. Just listen to this. The journalist, pretty sure she's from Variety, was asked, "Do you recall any of the posts that inspired your question for Cynthia and Ariana?" And her response, absolute gold. She said, "Most of it came from a conversation with a friend, a single friend. I was using that to tee up the question." She then admitted, "I was a little thrown off by Cynthia's response because it was so sincere and real. Like, what? This whole ridiculous moment spiraled out of control because of a random chat with one friend, and now we're here. It's almost too perfect." I was a little flustered, and honestly, Cynthia, the culture might be shifting for everyone else, but it definitely hasn't for her. She's still taking everything so deeply, deeply seriously. The journalist could have just said, "Oh, I have this one friend, and we had a conversation about it." But instead, she panicked and went with, "I'm in queer media." Turns out there weren't even any actual posts, just one queer friend talking about defying gravity, but because she didn't know how to handle the moment, she blew it up into this grand, sweeping cultural statement, and now here we are. Guys, it's also ridiculously overblown, every single piece of it. This nonsense we've been subjected to for the last 8 to 12 years, it's all just one big dramatized act. The advocacy, the holding space, the endless listening and learning, putting links in bios, posting black squares. It's all performative. It's not about real change. It's about feeding this larger boogeyman ideology and making people feel like they're doing something profound and meaningful. In reality, it's just an elaborate performance designed to give the illusion of progress while everyone pats themselves on the back. That's literally all it is, just a bunch of empty words, overblown gaffes, and theater kids being exactly what they are, theater kids. And honestly, that's the core of what's going on in Hollywood. It's all fluff and dramatics. Thankfully, we've reached a point where it's socially acceptable to laugh at it again. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time.